Okay, I'm going to explain how you can write a review. In this video, I will explain what a review is, the general structure of a review. I will showcase an example and also give my feedback on it. And finally, I will give some tips when it comes to practicing with writing in general. First of all, what is a review? A review is a short text which evaluates an event or a product. It's fairly informal, and it substantiates an opinion with clear arguments. Now, you might have noticed I've put some stars below the text, but to be honest, you don't really need a rating for a review. This is a common misconception. Reviews need a clear opinion, and they also need arguments to back up those opinions. But in general, that doesn't necessarily require a rating as well. First up, the structure of a review. You will probably need to start off with making a plan. Many people are tempted to start with the title, but it's best to save that for last. Also, you're going to need a reason for writing, so try to insert an attention grabber, maybe a good anecdote, or a short sentence which explains why you're reviewing a product. Then, you'll explain what you're actually reviewing. After that, you usually have a separate paragraph which describes the product or event. So you will give an overview of what you like and dislike about it, and also you will use argumentation to support your likes and dislikes. Try to keep in mind that you need to have a balance between content and your opinion. Describe and then evaluate. Finally, you end with a recommendation. So you will give a short summary, usually only a couple of sentences. And finally, a clincher. A clincher is a journalistic term, but it refers to a powerful ending statement which leaves the reader thinking. Some advice. Now, if you're going to be writing any text, a plan always goes first. Take a couple of minutes to carefully consider what you're going to put in it. Space it per paragraph. So in paragraph 1, this is what I'm going to write. In paragraph 2, this is what I'm going to write. In paragraph 3, and so on. Here are some key phrases, by the way, which you can use to shape your review. If you want to express your opinion, use phrases like, in my opinion, from my point of view, or my view, or my opinion, my belief is that. Now, there are also some key phrases that you can be using for making recommendations. So I would highly recommend, it is well worth the wait because, or if I were you, I would take a look at. Try to use these key phrases sparingly because they can be a bit formulaic and they're meant to show clearly what specific sentences are used for in your text. If you're unsure what you have to write, use the loop context, description, evaluation. So first, context, this is the situation, then some description, this is what I noticed, then evaluation, this is what I think about it. Let's look at an example together of a review which was published at flojo.co.uk. It is a great website if you want to practice for your Cambridge exams. The task is on the left. Take a couple of minutes to read through both the task and also the text. Try to look at what you think is good when it comes to content, structure, and language, and also what you think could be improved. Once you're done, unpause the video and we will continue together. Okay, so let's look at it together. What I liked about this text was it provided clear context. You see in the first paragraph, the writer explains that she went to an art exhibition that was at the Central Library. She also gave a clear title of that exhibition and she had a clear vision of what she liked and disliked about it. Also, you notice that you use argumentation for every part in which you state your opinion. So I like the atmosphere of the exhibition that was closed to public, which was different from the so-called novelty exhibitions. This is a good example of how you can support an argument with simple logic. The exhibition had something new, something unique, therefore it improved on other exhibitions. Now, there are some things, though, that could have been improved in this text. I've highlighted a couple of things here, but first notice that some of the phrasing here was a bit vague. In the first paragraph, she uses the sentence, "I recall my memory of those performances of the year." I can understand what she means here, but the general phrasing is convoluted. Similarly, with a sentence like, "Consequently, this event provided us with closer environment of the arts." I'm not quite sure what the reviewer tried to say here. It could be that the events made it clearer for everybody what the context was when the art piece was made, but I'm speculating here. I also think the choice of words and what tenses were used in certain sentences could have been improved as well. So, in the first paragraph, it says, "It is surprising that there were numbers of events in my local area which I was neglecting to take part in." This is a good example of a sentence in which it would have been better to use a tense like the past perfect. In the past perfect is generally used for events which take place before another event in the past, and that fits the situation here perfectly. So, which I had neglected to take part in. I would also go for a reverse of the sentence structure, but never mind that for a moment. Also notice how with the second paragraph it says the title of the exhibition was Local Amateur Artist. As the title is, it wasn't professional, but local people's crafts or some amateurs overdue exhibition. I'm not quite sure what the second part of the paragraph really means, but the word is here specifically is poorly chosen. I think the word she's trying to go for is suggests, or maybe implies, but the word is would have probably not been the best choice. Finally, you probably have noticed that some of the paragraphs are quite short. Paragraph 2 is literally only 2 sentences. You could link shorter paragraphs together with other paragraphs if you think they have an overarching theme. Paragraph 2 and 3 are a good example of this. In paragraph 2, there's a description. Paragraph 3 gives an opinion. You could very easily link those two together. Finally, some tips. The annoying thing about writing is that practice does not make perfect. No matter how much you write, you won't necessarily improve unless you also take other steps. So make sure you make a plan before writing. Exchange your work with others and give feedback on each other because you will have another perspective. Also, proofread carefully. So if you have a written text for your CAE exam or your CPE exam, make a draft first and then make a version in neat. But if you have a typed text, take the opportunity to restructure and edit your text accordingly. There are many students who hand in a text the moment they're done with writing or typing, and that is such a shame, because the first version is never perfect. Try to think, what paragraphs can I swap? What can I delete for consistency? What can I add to make it more clear? And finally, do not rely on spelling and grammar checkers. I'm a proponent of spelling and grammar checkers, but just like with calculators, you shouldn't have to rely on them. Do use them when you're evaluating your own work, though. It can be very helpful to see details which you probably would have overlooked otherwise. Now, I hope this video was useful to anybody who is still practicing with writing, whether it is for the Cambridge exams or for any other class project. Good luck.